Some stories you want to forget. Others teach you life lessons. Mine is the latter. I'll share what happened. Maybe someone can learn from my experience. Back then, I lived in a standard 2-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of town. I worked as a mechanic at a factory, not a glamorous job, but steady. The pay was decent enough to live on. And I had a wife, Kathy, a real beauty, no question. Tall, slim, shoulder-length blonde hair, sky-blue eyes, heads turned when she walked down the street. I was proud she's mine, I'd think. We met in technical college. I was in my 3rd year. She was in her 2nd. We started talking in the cafeteria. I liked her immediately, smart, well-read, loved to talk about life. Me? I've never been much of a talker. I listened, admired her, felt lucky to have her. We dated for 2 years. After graduation, I started working at the factory. I proposed, and Kathy said yes, but only after she finished her degree. I waited another year. We had a modest wedding. Money was tight, but I was happy. A woman like her chose me. The first few years were good. Kathy got a job as a cashier after college. Her salary was small, but together we made ends meet. We rented a 1-bedroom, saved up, and eventually bought a 2-bedroom with a mortgage. I worked hard, sometimes double shifts. I wanted to provide for her, so she'd want for nothing. Kathy loved nice clothes. I understood a woman should look good. I bought her whatever she asked for. Dresses, shoes, makeup. Sometimes I spent more on those things than on groceries, but I didn't mind. A happy wife meant a happy life. She also loved going out with her girlfriends, often, cafes, the theater, shopping. I didn't stop her, though sometimes it felt like she was rarely home. I figured let her have fun, her job's boring, standing around all day. 3 years in, I noticed Kathy changing. She used to tell me about her day, the little things. Now she clammed up. I'd ask how work was, and she'd just say, "Fine. That's it." She started hiding her phone. It used to just sit on the table. At first, I brushed it off, thought she was tired or hated her job. I suggested a vacation, maybe a beach trip. She agreed, but without enthusiasm. We went to the coast for a week. We relaxed, but I felt something was off. Kathy was physically there, but her mind was miles away. Back home, things got worse. Kathy started working late. Inventory, reports, too much to do. She'd come home exhausted. I'd cook dinner, meet her at the door. She'd eat in silence and go to bed. Didn't want to talk. Then came the business trips. At first, once a month, for a couple of days. Kathy said she was going to the regional office for training. I believed her. Work is work. If the boss sends you, you go. But the trips got more frequent. Twice a month, then every week. And longer, 2 days, then 3, then a whole week. I started suspecting something. One day I called her store and asked when Kathy would be back from her trip. The reply, "What trip? She's working today, just stepped out for lunch." My heart sank. She was lying, but why? I waited for her at home, ready to talk. She came in as usual, saying, "I'm exhausted, can't talk." I didn't push. Decided to watch and wait. A week later, she packed for another business trip. I took time off work and waited near her store. At lunch, she didn't go home. She headed to the bus stop. Took a bus downtown. I followed. She got off near an expensive cafe. A man was waiting tall in a suit, clearly not a laborer. They hugged, kissed, and went inside. I stood frozen on the street. My wife of 5 years kissing some guy. My hands shook, vision blurred. I wanted to storm in, make a scene, but I stopped myself. I needed to know more. The next 2 weeks were agony. Kathy acted normal, work, home, friends, but I knew she was lying. Every word cut deep. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Made mistakes at work. My boss chewed me out. Then Kathy announced another trip, 4 days this time. I acted. Took vacation and followed her. That morning she left for work as usual. At lunch she met the same man. They drove to a hotel in another part of town. I knew. My wife was having an affair, a serious one if they needed hotels. I sat in my car outside, waiting. They came out 3 hours later. Kathy was laughing, glowing. I hadn't seen her that happy in ages. At home, She was always sullen. That evening, Kathy packed for her trip like nothing happened. I watched in silence. She hummed, in a great mood. Inside, I was burning. When she left the next morning with her suitcase for the train station, I followed. She went back to that cafe. Her lover was waiting. They got into his car, a fancy import, and drove out of town. I tailed them, keeping my distance. They stopped at a countryside cottage, big house, large yard way beyond my pay grade, so her lover had money. For 4 days I suffered alone, imagining my wife with another man in that cottage. Barely ate, barely slept. Friends at work noticed. "What's wrong, James?" I said nothing, too ashamed. Kathy returned refreshed and cheerful, told me about workshops and new skills. I listened, thinking how easily she lied. 5 years together, and I never knew her. I decided to confront her. One evening, we were both home. I sat beside her on the couch, took her hand. "Kathy, we need to talk." She tensed. "About what?" "Us. Our marriage. I feel you pulling away." She sighed. "James, you're imagining things. Everything's fine." "No, it's not. You've changed. We used to talk about everything. Now you're silent. You're barely home. I have work. You know that." "I know. But work and personal life are separate. When did we last have a real conversation?" "Or go out together?" Kathy stood up, pacing. "James, I'm tired. I stand all day at work, then cook and clean at home. When am I supposed to talk? You found time before." "Things were different then." "How?" She was silent a long time. "Maybe. We've just outgrown this relationship." It felt like a punch to the gut. She was preparing to leave, but I wasn't giving up yet. "Kathy, if there's a problem, let's fix it. I'll change. I'll work on us. Just be who you are." "It's me. I've changed. How?" "In every way. I want more from life." "Like what?" Another long silence. "I don't know. I just do." After that, things got colder. Kathy withdrew completely. Rarely home, and when she wasn't, or only talking chores, business trips every weekend now. I knew she was with him, but I had no proof, just suspicion. And I wouldn't accuse her without evidence. What if I was wrong? I kept working, paying the mortgage, groceries, utilities. Kathy worked too, but her money went to clothes, makeup, nights out. I didn't object, she deserved it. But I felt worse. My wife didn't love me, maybe didn't even respect me. Still, I didn't want a divorce. 5 years together, so many plans. And I still loved her, despite everything. I tried one more time to fix things. Bought 2 tickets to a nice resort. Kathy agreed, but last minute said she couldn't go, urgent work came up. "James, go alone or take a friend." "But it's our vacation. I bought it for us." "Sorry. I really can't." I went alone. Wandered the resort like a ghost. Other couples and families me. Alone. I was ashamed, made up stories about why my wife wasn't there. I came home early, opened the door with my key and froze. Expensive leather men's shoes in the hallway. I'd never seen them. Quietly, I walked down the hall. Voices from the bedroom. Hers and a man's. I recognized hers. His was unfamiliar. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst. I crept to the bedroom door. It was slightly open. What I saw shattered my life. My wife was in bed with the man from the cafe. They were cuddling, talking. Kathy laughed, tracing circles on his chest. I hadn't seen her that tender in years. I stood in the hall, paralyzed. Burst in and start a fight? Or walk away? My legs wouldn't move. Then I heard him ask, "When are you finally leaving him?" "Soon. Just need to sort out the apartment." "What's the problem?" "Sell it and split the money." "It's in his name." "He has to agree to sell and split." "What if he won't?" "He will. He loves me. He'll do whatever I ask." The man laughed. "Convenient to have a husband like that." "Yeah. He was fine. For a while, I couldn't listen anymore, slipped out and walked aimlessly. My mind was chaos. Couldn't think. So Kathy wasn't just cheating, she planned to leave and take half the apartment, the one I'd worked like a dog to pay off. I came home late. Kathy was alone, watching TV. "You're back early from vacation?" "Missed you," I said. She nodded and turned back to the TV. I watched her, thinking how little I knew her. 5 years together, and she was a stranger. The next days were a blur. Work, routines, silence at home. She probably thought I was depressed about the vacation. A week later, Kathy said we needed to talk. I knew it was time. She'd asked for the divorce. We sat at the kitchen table. She poured tea but didn't drink, just spun the cup. "James, I'll be direct. Our marriage isn't working." "Why do you say that?" "We've become strangers, living side by side, not together. We could try to fix it." She shook her head. "No, it's too late. I've thought a lot about it. We should separate." "Then what?" "We divorce. Sell the apartment. Split the money. Start fresh." I stayed quiet. Knew it was coming, but it still hurt. "Is there someone else?" I asked. She flushed. "Yes. I didn't want you to find out like this, but yes." "How long?" 6 months. A lie. I'd seen them earlier. But I didn't argue. "I see. Why sell the apartment?" "I could pay you your share." "With what?" "You don't have that kind of money. I'll borrow it." "James, don't complicate things. Selling is cleaner." "Cleaner. What a joke, taking half of what I alone earned. But I didn't fight." "Fine. But I need time." "How much?" "A month. To find a place. Handle paperwork." Kathy agreed. A month seemed reasonable. After that, the atmosphere turned glacial. We lived like roommates. Kathy stopped cooking, cleaning. Why bother? We're done anyway. I did it all. She also started coming home very late. Sometimes not at all, staying at a friend's. I knew it was with her lover. But what could I do? We'd agreed to split. That month, I replayed our marriage, remembered the good times. There were many. Kathy hadn't always been this cold. We were happy the first few years. Or was I fooling myself? Maybe she was never sincere. Maybe I wasn't right for her, and she married me for stability. These thoughts haunted me. Where did I go wrong? Was I a bad husband? I didn't think so. Provided, stayed faithful, didn't drink, helped at home. Maybe I was too simple for her. She always wanted glamour while I offered stability. Her new man was clearly richer, fancy car, country house, things I couldn't give. Maybe it was just money? But there's more to life. A week before our deadline, Kathy announced she'd found a buyer. A friend's offering a good price. "What friend?" I asked. "Someone I know. Cash offer, no mortgage." I smelled a rat. "Too convenient. I want to meet him." "Discuss the price." "Why?" "It's a fair market price." "I still want to meet him." Reluctantly, she agreed. The meeting was the next day. I came home early. The doorbell rang right on time. I opened the door to him, Kathy's lover. He extended a hand. "Robert." "James?" I said, shaking it. We went to the living room. Kathy sat stiffly on the sofa. Robert was direct. "I like the apartment. I'll pay what Kathy quoted. The price was fair, maybe even above market." "Why do you want it?" I asked. "To rent out. I own a few properties." "I see." We discussed details. Robert seemed serious, businesslike, wealthy. No wonder Kathy chose him. After he left, I told Kathy, "Okay." I agreed to sell. She brightened. "Great. We'll start paperwork tomorrow." But I had a plan. That month, I hadn't been idle. Consulted a lawyer, learned our rights, discovered something interesting. The apartment was solely in my name, the mortgage too. Legally, Kathy was entitled to half as my spouse, but only if we weren't officially divorced. We hadn't filed yet. Also, the lawyer said if I proved infidelity, the divorce settlement could favor me. I had proof. Hired up by photos, videos, witness statements, all legal. The next day, instead of signing sale papers, I filed for divorce myself and requested sole ownership of the apartment. Kathy found out days later via a court summons. She was furious. "What is this? We agreed to split amicably." "We did. I changed my mind. You can't do this. Half that apartment is mine. We'll see what the court says. She threatened, screamed, demanded. I stood firm. I'd fight for what was mine. The court battle began. Kathy hired a lawyer. So did I. It dragged on for 6 months. During that time, things unraveled. First, we learned Robert never planned to rent the apartment. He wanted it for Kathy. So my wife aimed to take half the money and live there with her lover on my dime. Second, Robert was married, had a wife and 2 kids. Kathy didn't know. He'd lied about being single. She found out by accident. Robert's wife tracked him down and confronted them at a cafe. A fight broke out, police, the whole mess. After that, Robert vanished, stopped taking Kathy's calls. His wife gave him an ultimatum, family or mistress. He chose family. Kathy was shattered. She destroyed our marriage for him, given up stability. And he dumped her when things got tough. She tried to reconcile with me, forget everything, start fresh. But I couldn't. Too much pain, too much broken trust. I won the case. The infidelity evidence worked. I kept the apartment. Kathy got only her personal belongings. She moved back with her parents across town. Lost her job fired after the scandal. Couldn't find another. Her reputation was ruined. Her life spiraled. Jobless, broke, homeless. Her parents weren't welcoming. They'd never gotten along. She could stay, but it was tense. Kathy looked for work, but in our small town everyone knew. Her affair and divorce were gossip. Employers avoided her. 6 months post-divorce, I bumped into her on the street. She'd aged thin, worn out, dressed plainly, not the beauty I'd fallen for. We talked briefly. She apologized, said she'd realized her mistake too late. James, I was a fool. I lost a good husband for a man who only wanted fun. Everyone makes choices, I said. Could you help me find a job? Maybe at the factory? I shook my head. Sorry, I can't. And it was true. Not out of anger or spite. I knew helping her would tempt her back into my life. I didn't need that. After the divorce, I changed. Became more guarded with women. Didn't trust so easily, but life went on. I still worked at the factory. Got promoted, better pay. The apartment was mine. I paid off the mortgage early. Lived alone but wasn't lonely. Found new hobbies: fishing, gym, reading. A year later, I met someone else. Helen worked as an accountant nearby. Quiet, unassuming. Not a bombshell, but kind. Most importantly, honest. We dated 6 months, then moved in together. Helen came to my place. A year later, we married. Small wedding, just family and close friends. Life with Helen was different. Calm, steady, no secrets, lies, or business trips. We both worked. Evenings were dinner together, TV, talking, simple joys, but real. Helen was a great homemaker, cooked well, kept the place clean and cozy, didn't demand expensive gifts or throw fits, valued what we had. 2 years later, our daughter Annie was born. A beautiful baby, like her mom. Helen was a natural mother patient, gentle, attentive. And Kathy? I heard snippets through mutual friends. Her life never improved. Couldn't hold a steady job, odd gigs here and there. Struggled financially. Her parents died within a year and a half, first her dad, then her mom. Their tiny co-op apartment in a bad neighborhood. Kathy sold it, but the money didn't last. She tried dating, but failed. Men came and went. Nothing serious. Maybe she picked wrong or couldn't love anymore. 3 years post-divorce, Kathy left town. Don't know where. Rumor said she moved to a distant relative's place. I never heard from her again. Sometimes I think back. Do I regret how I handled it? No. She betrayed me, lied for months, planned to use me. She earned what she got. But I don't take joy in her downfall. No anger either. Just know this: everyone chooses their path and pays the price. Kathy chose the easy way. Thought beauty and cunning would get her everything without effort. But life isn't that simple. Sooner or later the bill comes due. I chose differently. Honest work, simple love, family values. Maybe not as flashy as Kathy wanted, but solid, and there's happiness in that. Now I have a new family. Helen would never betray me. Annie's growing up smart and happy, stable job, a home. What more do I need? Sure, Kathy was prettier than Helen, better talker, sharper dresser, But looks aren't everything. Honesty, loyalty, respect, that's what matters. Helen loves me for real. Not for money, the apartment, or convenience, just loves me as I am. And I love her back. A quiet, steady love that warms, not burns. We plan more kids. Want a son. We have what it takes. Stability, love, the will to raise a family. Now I know what a real family feels like. The Kathy chapter taught me much. I understand people better now. Don't trust pretty words. Watch actions. Know that trust is everything in a relationship. Easy to lose, almost impossible to rebuild. I also learned not to cling to someone who doesn't value you. Better to let go and find real love. Life's too short for ungrateful people. Kathy thought I was a fool she could use. She was wrong. I may not be clever, but I spot a lie. And when I knew I was being played, I didn't endure it. She wanted it all, the apartment, her lover. But you can't have it both ways. Can't sit on two chairs without falling between them. Robert deceived her too. Promised the world but wanted fun. Used her and tossed her when things got messy. So it goes reach for a better life, lose everything. Meanwhile, boring me lives quietly and happily. A loving wife, a daughter, a home, a steady job. Everything that truly matters. My new family is my fortress. Here I'm loved and valued. Helen would never say she wants more from life. She's grateful for what we have. We sometimes talk about Kathy. Helen doesn't judge her, even pities her. She punished herself more than anyone else could. True. Kathy lost far more than she gained. Traded a stable life for a mirage. Ended up with nothing. I gained. Learned what real love is. Value the simple things. Grew stronger, wiser. Her betrayal hurt, but it served me. Now I know if someone loves you, they won't betray you. Won't lie, cheat, scheme behind your back. Love and betrayal don't mix. Kathy never loved me. Maybe never did. I was just convenient, provided stability. When someone better came along, I was disposable. But that's her problem, not mine. I did my best as a husband, worked, earned, cared for her. If that wasn't enough, we just weren't right. I'm glad I found out about the affair. Imagine if she'd deceived me for years. More pain, more disappointment. Instead, it ended cleanly. Everyone got what they deserved. Mia, new family and happiness. Kathy, a lifelong lesson. I hope she learned from it. Maybe somewhere. She's a better person, more honest, more grateful. But that's not my concern. I have my life, my family, my responsibilities. Annie's growing. Work needs attention. Helen deserves my love and care. Sometimes I wonder, what if I hadn't found out? Would I have forgiven her if she confessed? Probably. I loved her, but she didn't confess. Kept lying and scheming to rob me, so there was nothing to forgive. People like that don't change. I'm glad it happened this way. Kathy left, Helen arrived, the right woman. With her, I'm at peace about the future. The moral is simple. Don't deceive those close to you. Don't betray those who love you. Don't build plans on someone else's back. It all comes back like a boomerang. And cherish what you have. Don't chase illusions by destroying reality. The grass isn't greener. It's an illusion. Kathy had a good life, a loving husband, a home, stability. But she wanted more. Lost everything. Could have lived peacefully if not for greed and selfishness. I don't condemn her. Everyone errs. But errors have a price. Kathy paid in full for her choices. I got a second chance at happiness, and I value it more than the first because I know how easily it's lost. Helen isn't just my wife, she's my friend, partner, support. With her, I feel whole. That's true happiness. 5 years later. 5 years have passed since the divorce. My daughter Annie is a real chatterbox. At 4, she knew all her letters, loved fairy tales, and asked a million questions a day. Helen was endlessly patient, answering each one seriously, as if it mattered. "Daddy, why is the sky blue?" she asked at breakfast. "Because sunlight hits the air in a special way," I explained, though I barely understood the physics. "Why blue? Not red?" Helen smiled and winked. She knew I'd fallen into the toddler question trap. That's nature's law, sweetheart. Who made that law? Every morning was like this. But I loved it. Annie was curious, bright, calm like Helen, but stubborn like me. Once she decided something, good luck changing her mind. Work was good too. A year after marrying Helen, I was promoted to shop foreman. Better pay, more responsibility, but I handled it. The crew respected me. Management trusted me. Sometimes I worked late missed deadlines, broken equipment. Helen never complained. Work is work, she'd say. Don't worry, she'd reassure me over the phone. Annie and I will eat. I'll leave your dinner in the fridge. A wife like that is a gift. After Kathy's tantrums over minor things, Helen's patience felt miraculous. Life was steady, work by day, family by night, weekends together, parks, picnics, visiting Helen's parents. No surprises, no secrets, just honest, open living. Helen wanted more kids. So did I. We tried, but it didn't happen. Doctors found nothing wrong. Just not time yet, Helen would say. Annie's still little. A sibling will come. I reassured her, but worried too. I wanted a big family laughter, chaos, energy. For now, Annie filled our lives with joy. A new home one rainy evening, Annie asleep, Helen and I drank tea at the kitchen table. Quiet, cozy. She looked up from her magazine. James. What if we bought a house? I was surprised. A house? We have the apartment, a real house, with a yard in the suburbs. So Annie grows up near nature, maybe a garden, even animals. Tempting, but I thought of the cost. That's expensive, and far from work. Not necessarily. There are commuter towns, 30 minutes by car. And money. We have savings. We could sell the apartment, put it toward a house. I considered it. We did have savings. Helen managed our money wisely, frugal, but not cheap. My salary had grown. Maybe we could. What if it doesn't work? I lose my job or something. We sell the house, move back. But we should try. I love the idea. I'd spent childhood summers at my grandma's farm picking apples, swimming in the creek. I wanted that for Annie. Okay, I said, let's see what's out there. We searched listings, visited homes weekends. Some too pricey, others run down, others too remote. A month later, we found a house in a commuter town 30 minutes out, small but solid. 3 bedrooms, kitchen, porch, half-acre yard, shed, sauna, well, woods nearby, a river 500 yards away. The owners, an elderly couple, were moving to their kids' city, selling fully furnished. The price was fair. Good house, the old man said. Raised 3 kids here. Quiet, friendly neighbors. Perfect for a young family. Helen was thrilled. She paced rooms, planning layouts. Annie loved the big yard and the swing set the owner built for his grandkids. Daddy, will we live here? She asked. If Mommy wants to, yes, I do. There's a river and a swing and a cat. Sure enough, an old cat lounged in the yard. Misty stays, the man said. Good Mauser. Annie'll love her. A week later, we signed the papers. Sold our apartment fast. It was in good shape, good location. The sale covered the house and left money for repairs. Moving day was smooth. Friends helped. Helen nested immediately, cleaning, arranging. I handled the yard, fixed the fence, prepped the garden. The first months were tough, adjusting to commutes, new routines. The drive ate an hour daily, but we adapted. Annie loved it. Made friends with neighbor kids, claimed the yard. Misty became her shadow. She'd bring milk, share secrets. Helen bloomed too, planted a garden, grew flowers. Neighbors welcomed us, shared tips, seedlings, coffee. I finally felt like a real homeowner. In the apartment, everything was done. Here, I could build, improve. I put up a new fence, expanded the porch, built Annie a playset. Evenings, we'd sit on the porch, sip tea, watch stars. In the city, you barely see them. Here, the sky blazed. Annie named constellations. Daddy, that star is our house in the sky, she'd say. Why ours? Because it's the brightest, like our family. A 4-year-old's words could break your heart. We'd made the right choice. Here, our child would thrive. By winter, we were settled. The house was warm, the stove reliable. We stacked firewood, stocked the pantry. Helen learned canning from her grandma. Winter nights were magic fire crackling, Annie playing with Misty, Helen knitting or reading. I'd tinker or just rest. Friends visited sometimes, Helen's parents, my work buddies. All praised the house. This is living, my friend Bill said. We're caged in the city. Move out too, I'd say. Wife won't, afraid of being too far. Not everyone dares to change. It takes courage. Helen and I had both. A new addition. In spring, Helen got pregnant. We were overjoyed. Maybe the move helped, or just timing. The pregnancy went smoothly. Helen stayed active gardening, housework. I helped more, lifted nothing heavy. Annie couldn't wait for a sibling. When's the baby coming? Helen explained. Growing in Mommy's tummy. A few more months. Doesn't he get lonely in there? No, cozy and warm. He hears us talking, getting ready to meet us. Annie pressed her ear to Helen's belly, listening for replies. I did too, told the baby about our home, how loved he was. Silly? Maybe, but true. Summer was paradise. Garden green, flowers blooming, Annie tanned and strong. We swam in the river, picked berries in the woods. Life felt full. In August, Helen gave birth to Max. A beautiful boy, looked like me. Easy delivery. Helen recovered fast. Annie adored her brother, helped change diapers, brought toys. No jealousy, just pride in being a big sister. Max is my brother, she'd tell neighbors. I love him so much. Max was an easy baby, ate well, slept on schedule, rarely cried. Helen said it was because he was born in love and peace. With 2 kids, life got busier. Mornings, get Annie to kindergarten, a good one in town. Days, care for Max. Evenings, family time. But we managed. Helen was a natural mom. I tried to be a good dad. Weekends, we explored nature. Annie picked flowers. Max napped in his stroller. Helen cooked over a fire. I fished or just watched my family, content. Kathy returns. One fall evening, kids asleep, Helen and I planned our future. Max was 6 months, Annie almost 5. You know, Helen said, I sometimes think about your first wife. I was surprised. She rarely mentioned Kathy. What about? Wonder how her life turned out, if she regrets what she did. Don't know. Don't really care. I pity her. Lost a good husband, a home. Could have had children. Instead. Helen trailed off. Kathy chose fleeting thrills over family. And lost. Don't dwell on her, I said. We have our own life. You're right. But I wonder what she'd think seeing our house, our kids. Could have been her life. Yes, it could have if she'd been different. But she wasn't. She chose her path. Helen, do you ever regret marrying me? I'm no prince, just a factory worker. She smiled, took my hand. James, you're the best husband anyone could want. Honest, reliable, caring. Isn't that enough? But we're not rich. Old car. No fancy vacations. I don't need that. I have a home, a family, a husband I love, healthy kids. What more is there? That's why I loved Helen. She valued what she had. Didn't chase illusions like Kathy. Knew love and family mattered most. A final request. That winter a stranger came to my work. An attorney, he said, looking for me for a client. Your ex-wife Kathy wants to meet you. I was stunned. Kathy? After 7 years? Why? She's in a difficult situation. Only she can explain. What happened? He hesitated. She's ill, seriously ill, and she has a child. The words hit like lightning. A child? Kathy's? How old? 6. I did the math. She'd gotten pregnant soon after our divorce. By Robert. Someone else. What does she want? To meet. That's all. I thought long. Part of me didn't want to reopen old wounds, but curiosity and a vague sense of duty. We had shared 5 years. Okay, but somewhere neutral. And brief? He agreed. Tomorrow 2 p.m. Central Cafe? She'll be there. That evening I told Helen. She listened calmly, no jealousy. Go meet her. If she's asking, it's serious. You don't mind? James, I trust you. I know you love me. The past is past. Maybe she really needs help. That was Hellenopettiness, just wisdom. The meeting. The next day, I entered the cafe. Kathy sat in a corner. I barely recognized her. Once beautiful, polished. Now? Thin, pale, dull hair, plain clothes, looked older. James, she said as I approached. Her voice trembled. Hi, Kathy. We sat. I ordered coffee. She declined. Thanks for coming. The lawyer said you're sick. She nodded. Cancer. Stage 4. The words stunned me. Are you... in treatment? Was. Too late now. Doctors give me 6 months. I didn't know what to say. And the child? A girl. Marie. She's 6. Whose? Not Robert's. After the divorce. I met someone. He left when I got pregnant. You raised her alone? Yes. Odd jobs. Rented rooms. It was hard, but we managed. Marie's sweet. Kathy showed me a photo blonde girl with serious eyes. She looks like you, I said. Everyone says that. Silence. Why had she called me? James, I know I've no right to ask. After what I did. But I have no choice. Ask what? When I'm gone. Marie will be alone. No other family. My parents are dead. Her father's vanished. I saw where this was going. Foster care? I won't let her go to a home. James, you're the only person I can ask. Kathy, I'm not her family. What claim do I have? She cried quietly. None. But you're a good man. I realized that too late. You have a family. Kids. Could you take Marie? Not legally, just help her. The request floored me. Taking her child? A stranger's daughter? I can't decide this alone. I have a wife. Kids, I know. But please think. Marie's innocent. She doesn't deserve to be orphaned because of my mistakes. She was right. The child was blameless. But raising her? Huge responsibility. Financially? Who supports her? I have some savings. Sold my parents' place money in trust. Enough for years. Then, maybe state aid? We talked another half hour. Kathy described her post-divorce life. Hard, unstable. Worse after Marie was born. James, I know it's a strange ask, but I've nowhere else to turn. You were a good husband. You'd be a good guardian. Give me time. This is serious. Of course. We have a little time left. We parted. She gave me her number and address. If you want to meet Marie, come. She's a good girl. Won't be trouble. I drove home in turmoil. Part of me pitied the child, part resisted the burden. Helen met me calmly. Kids playing, dinner ready, our peaceful life. Over dinner, I told her. She listened intently. What will you do? She asked. I don't know. She's a stranger's child. James, all children are strangers at first. They come to us, and we make them ours with love. But 2 kids, the house, expenses we'll manage. I can work sooner if needed. The house is big enough. I stared. She'd taken my ex-wife's child, the woman who wrecked my first marriage? Helen, do you realize what you're saying? I do. That girl isn't to blame for her mother. She's just a child who needs a family. And if it doesn't work, if she rejects us, then we find her a good adoptive home. Stay in touch. But we should try. Helen's kindness humbled me. She thought only of the child. How will our kids react? Annie will be thrilled. She's wanted a sister. Max's little Marie will be family from day one. We talked late into the night, weighed every problem solution. By the end, I agreed. We had to help. Marie? The next day I called Kathy, wanted to meet Marie. We arranged a park visit. Kathy arrived with a girl. Marie did look like a young Kathy Blonde, blue-eyed, but quieter, more reserved. Marie, this is Mr. James, the one I told you about. Hello, she said politely but warily. A stranger. We walked, talked. Marie answered briefly. Only when I described our house, Misty, the cat, the river did she brighten. Can I swim in the river? Sure, in summer. Pet the cat? Misty's sweet, loves kids. After, I asked Kathy to let me talk to Marie alone. Marie, did Mommy tell you she's sick? She nodded, eyes sad. The doctors say Mommy might die. Are you scared? Yes. But Mommy said kind people will take care of me. Would you like to live in a big house with other kids? She thought. Are they nice? Very nice. Annie's a bit younger. Max is tiny. Can Mommy visit sometimes? The question shattered me. She didn't understand. Marie? Mommy's very sick. She might not be able to visit. The girl cried softly, like a child used to hiding pain. Don't cry, I said, hugging her. I promise you'll be cared for. You won't be alone. Right then, I decided. We'd take Marie. Helen agreed. Poor child. Of course we will. We didn't tell Annie yet. First, paperwork. The next weeks were blur guardianship papers, legal hurdles. Kathy helped, but weakened visibly. A month later, she called me over. She lay in bed, struggling to breathe. James? I'm worse. Afraid it's soon. Don't say that. No. I feel it. Take Marie. Now. Marie was doing homework at the kitchen table. Marie, pack your things. You're coming to my house. And Mommy? Mommy needs rest. You'll meet Annie and Max. She packed a bag of clothes and toys, kissed Kathy goodbye. Mommy, I'll be back soon. Kathy forced a smile. Of course, sweetheart, go, don't be scared. On the drive, Marie was silent, stared out the window, asked about the house, the kids, scared of the unknown. At home, Helen met us with the kids. Annie rushed over. You're Marie? I'm Annie. Want to see my room? Max was asleep. Helen showed Marie around, made dinner. The girl was guarded but polite. That night, Marie slept in Annie's room. They bonded, fast playing, giggling. Morning brought a call from the hospital. Kathy had died in her sleep. I waited until evening to tell Marie after the little ones were in bed. Marie, I have to tell you something important. She knew. Children sense grief. Mommy died? Yes, sweetheart, she did. Marie cried deep, heartbroken sobs. I held her, stroked her hair. Helen comforted her too. Marie, we're your family now. We'll care for you, love you. You're not alone. The first days were hard. Marie missed her mom, barely ate, cried often. Slowly she adjusted. Annie became her best friend and sister. They played, walked, helped Helen. Max adored his new sister's mild, reached for her. Helen was a perfect guardian, gave Marie space but wrapped her in love. Understood she needed time. I read to Marie, helped with homework, played with her. Slowly she trusted me, shared her fears. 6 months later, Marie was part of our family. Called us Mom and Dad. We made it official guardianship papers, but she was our daughter. Neighbors welcomed her. Our story spread. People admired us. That's a real family, one neighbor said, taking in a child like your own. God bless you. Marie was ours, calm like Helen, stubborn like me, good student, helped at home, doted on Max. It was touching watching her with him reading, feeding, rocking, more sister, little mother. Annie matured too protective, supportive of Marie. True sisters. By year's end, our family was whole. Our 3 kids, 2 parents, a house full of love. This was the happiness I dreamed of. Sometimes I thought of Kathy. Did I pity her? Yes, a troubled woman who made bad choices. But in the end, she did right, asked for help for her child. Maybe it was her redemption, giving her daughter what she couldn't, a real family. Marie still missed her mom, cried, grieved, but less often. Life moved on, new joys, friends. The wound healed. Helen and I decided no secrets about their past. When they're older, we'll tell each their story, let them know where they came from. But for now, they're just children in a loving home. Annie, Max, and Mary, your kids. Biological or not, what's the difference? They're ours. Helen was right that day. All children start as strangers. We make them ours with love, care, patience, and they love us back.